This is not a repeat of a show. This is brand new. Yet another indictment likely of President Trump, a third indictment, this coming again from Special Counsel Jack Smith. This is now, you saw the one out of the state indictment, DA indictment, the local in New York in Manhattan. Then you had the federal indictment in the Southern District of Florida that was led by Jack Smith. This would be Washington, D.C. President Trump's got the target letter and the request if you'd like to appear before the grand jury in the next 4 days. Likely when you don't, at some point after that, an indictment gets issued. So, and then you have to go through an arraignment and arrest process yet again. Tulsi Gabbard is joining us. Tulsi, a senior advisor to us on the political and foreign affairs as well. And Tulsi, I want to go right to this. This, again, I think the reaction from most people right now is, they think that this is just political targeting, over the top political targeting. And this time, when it's related to January 6th, where we've had all these investigations and we know that we had this violence that was wrong that occurred, but it doesn't look like Donald Trump was directing any of it. So is this just about political speech and the idea that he questioned an election? Are we going to actually criminalize that kind of speech in America?
Oh, Jordan, you said it. You said it. You had to remind your viewers and your listeners that this is not a rerun of a previous conversation. Actually, one that I think you and I had last time I sat there in your studio when I think it was the first indictment was announced coming from the DA in New York. The Democrat elite are so hell-bent on doing all they can to destroy Donald Trump. They are willing to destroy our democracy in the process. And that is exactly what's happening here. When people say that this is an unprecedented action, yes, it is. And it's unprecedented in the sense that one after the other, they are throwing these nails in the coffin of our democracy, lobbying these charges, throwing everything but the kitchen sink at the former president of the United States, as you said, who is the major political opponent running against the sitting president of the United States in this active and upcoming campaign and election. It's something that, we read about not only in history books, but we see happening by tyrants or dictators in other countries. But this is happening right here in the United States of America. We hear from the Democrat elite and their friends in the propaganda media over and over and over, no one is above the law. But it's such BS, because when you look at some of the things that they're alleging Donald Trump has done, some of the things they're charging him with, and you can find examples amongst their cabal of warmongers, so-called woke warmongers in the permanent Washington establishment, who have done the very same things they're charging President Trump with felonies for. And yet these people have gone completely no accountability, no prosecution, no charges. In fact, these are people who continue to be lifted up and celebrated amongst the Democrat elite in permanent Washington. So, the fact that President Trump's polling numbers continue to increase one after the other after these indictments are thrown at him, to me tells me that the American people are seeing through the Democrat elite's nonsense and actually are very clear-eyed about what they are doing here in politicizing the national security state and law enforcement at the federal and the state level against the guy that they are most scared of and most threatened by, who threatens their power. That's exactly what's happening here again.
Yeah, Chuck Schumer made the statement, I don't know if we have it right now, but he made that statement, if you take on the intelligence community, they've got an unlimited arsenal to come after you. And he made that statement when President Trump removed Jim Comey, took on the FBI, and said there's some bad actors here. We've seen how even whistleblowers inside the FBI, how they've been treated. Their whole careers have been destroyed, even though they've had whistleblower protections by Congress, and that's not supposed to happen. We've talked about this two-tiered system of justice in America, which is unfortunate that we're even having to talk about and discuss as something that is real, Tulsi. But this one specifically, is raising a lot of eyebrows, because it's likely that most of whatever this charge ends up being is going to be related to speech. It's not going to be related to some conspiracy, because no one found anything like that. There's been lots of investigations there. But this is going to be like, we don't like this kind of political speech, so we are going to criminalize it in the United States of America. And if this can be done to someone as high profile as a former president, it can be done to any of us.
That's exactly right. And then that's what we're seeing play out here. So the tactics that they are using against the former president of the United States, Donald Trump right now are tactics that they can and are using against Americans, people who are saying things that they don't like, people who dare to challenge their authority. And these tactics are reminiscent of Stalin's former chief of secret police, when he said, "Show me the man and I'll show you the crime." So they are trying every single thing that they can possibly find to charge President Trump with, because in their minds, he's guilty. He's guilty no matter what. They don't care about the rule of law. They don't care about a fair and equal justice system. They don't care about upholding and protecting our democracy so that people can actually have faith and trust in these institutions that are supposed to be serving the interests of the American people. All they care about is their power, and they're willing to destroy anything and everything that they feel they must to accomplish that objective of holding on to and gaining more power. And that means not only the destruction of Donald Trump, this is about something much bigger than one person. This is about our country. It's about our democracy. And we've got an election just over 1 year away that will be very, very critical given all of the things that we are seeing.
Yeah, can we play that bite from Chuck Schumer? I just want to remind people, this is what he said. And it wasn't him threatening what Congress could do. It was what the intelligence community will do to you as an elected president if you question them and if you take them on. Take a listen.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
And in some ways, Tulsi, we are seeing this happen in real time. I mean, this is it's coming out of the FBI. It's coming from the intel community. That's where these investigations all started, where there was Crossfire Razor, Crossfire Hurricane. But the fact that this is a statement that it wasn't like Chuck Schumer didn't say if it was legitimate that you took on the intelligence community. He was like saying, you can't ever take on the intelligence community. They'll just take you out.
Almost as though they are some autonomous entity within our government that can do what they want without accountability. The problem is that so far what we've seen, and in both the national security state and law enforcement, who are being directed by the Democrat elite and their cabal in permanent Washington, is they're getting away with it. There hasn't been any accountability. There hasn't been anyone so far yet able to bring them in and rein them in on the basis of our Constitution and our democracy. And so they continue to be more and more emboldened, seeing, hey, we've gotten away with this much so far. We might as well keep pushing the envelope. Our framers, the founders of this country, empowered we the people to be able to lift our voices and our votes to hold these powerful entities accountable. And so we as voters have to be very clear-eyed about what is happening and making sure that we are exercising our fundamental freedoms and rights enshrined in the Constitution, and making sure that we bring about serious change in this election across our government. Clean out these corrupt entities. The FBI, for example, we are seeing how corrupt it is to its core. Either completely clean it out or get rid of it and start a whole new law enforcement organization that will allow us to start from a clean slate for it to fulfill its service to the American people.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we have to do. And Tulsi, we appreciate you being part of our team. This election is going to be how we combat this. It's not going to be in the courts. It's going to be the election.